This is a little video of a trail the guys did just the other day on Tract 8 at the Fuson Conservation Area. So I'm parked on Tract 8 right now. And we had a few guys come out here that worked with us. Two guys with chainsaws and then two younger guys to move the trees and brush. And they just went right through and cut out this driveway and building site at the end. It's a nice wide driveway, and it goes back several hundred feet and then curves off into a private building site. But I wanted to take this video because we've had a couple people ask if they could cut in their own trail and site as far as removing the trees. And for the purposes of creating a driveway and a building site like this one, basically you're free to do it yourself if you would like. They kind of did the road as they went and just shaped it so that they didn't have to cut any huge trees, because it's kind of a shame to cut the marketable or commercial timber if you don't have to. Plus it's a big pain to cut the larger trees. But with the two guys running the saws and the two young guys throwing off the brush, this took about 4 hours. So that'll give you a good idea about what it takes. If it's you and a buddy, you could probably do this in one fairly long day, 8 or 10 hours. Maybe a little quicker if you didn't want to take too many breaks. But yeah, that's all there was to it. It wasn't a month-long project. It was just a couple inexpensive chainsaws and some labor, and this took about 4 hours. And this is a good site. You can easily turn around even with an extended cab truck. The one thing I would caution about is when you do it this way, you are left with these small little stumps that can be a couple inches above ground. So unless you're in probably a truck or an SUV with some thicker tires, all our stuff has 8 and 10 ply tires, which handles this fine. But if you're in a vehicle, if you're in a car with street tires, this could slash your tire. And the reason they didn't cut them right at ground level is you'll just quickly wreck the chain on the chainsaw doing it that way. So they cut it with a couple inches left, tried to leave the stumps flat so they weren't sharp. And then after a period of a few months, and certainly a year or two, those little stumps will either rot away, or you could run through here with a tractor and a brush hog and that would knock them down as well. So that should give a pretty good idea about what it takes to do a standard driveway and building site. Not a huge project, and as long as you dodge the larger trees, the big commercial trees, a couple guys can do this in a day. One of the reasons they angled it a little bit was to make sure they dodged the large trees. But the other reason was that if you go straight back from the road and do your site, you don't have any privacy. If you angle it off a little bit, then by the time you get to the site, it's completely out of view of the road. So even in the winter time when the leaves are off the trees, you won't see that site. Highly unlikely you'll see that site with all these thick trees. So yeah, about half a day and they had a really nice site. This will be a great spot for years to come.